are listening to the Therapy Podcast with your host, Shloimi Balsam.
Hello and welcome to episode 3 of the Therapy Podcast. How exciting is this? This is amazing. Thank you guys again for giving me the opportunity to share these ideas with you. Very excited. Today we're continuing in our series in self-sanity and taking care of ourselves, and also offering these self-sanity tips to friends, family, and of course, clients. Today's agenda is physical health. Last time we spoke about mental health, finding our center, being able to meditate and focus on what we're doing in the mind. Now we're going to focus more on our physical bodies and understand a little bit about how to take care of it and why that's really that important. What does our physical health have to do with our emotional health? Well, I'm coming here for something that I'm feeling. What is a jog going to do for my feelings? Obviously, that's a silly question for anyone who's been on a jog lately. There's something called a runner's high, and the effects that you feel, the dopamine rush that one gets in your brain when finishing an intense workout, is the same high that you get off of heroin. Don't compare them. Just take my word for it. It's the same high, minus the super low that follows when you're taking a drug. These are natural drugs we're talking about. We're talking about imbibing the drugs that are available to us in a healthy way. So that's awesome. Let's take a look a little bit at Harvard Medical School's research regarding exercise. Okay, first they note that there is an insane amount of evidence to back up all of it. Exercise is not a new thing. Physical activity is not a new thing. Taking care of our bodies is not a new thing. And the downsides of it are non-existent. It is amazing. It's just the only question that you could have here is why aren't people doing it more? Which is a very good question. Let's try to talk about that a little bit also. All right, let's start off with the heart. The American Heart Association promulgated the country's first set of exercise guidelines in the year 1972. And it's not too far of a stretch to understand why exercising helps the heart. If you're physically active, your heart gets a workout. The whole goal is to get your heart rate up high. If your heart is used to that, it's used to working out, it's a muscle. The more you strengthen it, it will beat slower and stronger. It will therefore need less oxygen to function well. Your arteries get springier. They're going to push your blood along better. And your good HDL cholesterol goes up. Plus, and plus. That's just one very huge benefit that we get from exercising. Okay, before you get freaked out, like, oh no, I don't want to do insane exercises and Arnold Schwarzenegger my way through my life. You don't have to. We're going to talk about very, very practical, day-to-day, even simple, you're kind of already doing it exercises that we can focus on, we can meditate on. Nice, we could tie these two episodes together. And that way we'll be exercising while we're living our normal life. Okay, next step. Diabetes. Diabetes is bad. Undeniably bad. How do you fight diabetes? One day, doctor tells you, voila, you have diabetes. Okay, what could I have done to prevent that? Right? We should never know of such things. Let's see what we can do to try to prevent it. Muscles that are used more are more receptive to insulin. The hormones that get your blood sugar into cells, that's your insulin. You want that. So people who are fit, they are less likely to have their sugar level spiking. Okay, how about cancer? Studies show that exercise can actually be a soldier fighting against many different types of cancer. Not necessarily all of them. It could be they are, but hey, it can't hurt, obviously. That is a fantastic study. Thank you, Harvard. Then moving on to our field a little more, we have the effects of exercise on our brains. Several studies have found that exercise takes down our depression levels significantly. It changes the way that antidepressant medication does. Again, our whole goal here on this podcast is to avoid that bucket of pills. A jog might be avoiding a couple of those pills. In old age, staying physically active can help the brain stay strong and avoid the decline into dementia. Even once the process has started, the exercise can hang on to the parts of the brain and keep that stronger as much as it can. Okay, so we're avoiding diabetes, heart disease, cancer. We're sleeping better. We are performing our daily activities better. We are improving our cognition and reducing the risks of dementia. And our bones, our musculoskeletal health is improving. I don't really need to convince you that exercising is good. Everyone knows it. So why aren't we exercising? That's a pretty good question. Regarding eating healthy, we're going to talk about this. It looks like maybe another episode, but you have to eat. You're eating anyways. So to be able to choose what you're eating, you can choose, okay, like I'm going to be sitting down to eat, so I can either have a carrot or 3 donuts, right? That's usually the ratio, because who wants to have a second and a third carrot, right? So we're eating anyways, but in your average day in 2020, you do not need to exercise. I could go through a week without exercising at all. If I'm in quarantine, middle of corona, middle of a crazy pandemic, I could stay in bed for weeks. So there's nothing that's like urging you to exercise. In fact, right, our bodies come from dirt. We were born from dirt. And that is its choice state, to remain flat on the ground doing nothing. So we have to actually be proactive to get ourselves out of that slump, that stagger. Let's see what we can do here. Okay, first, let me offer you an excuse and simultaneously ask you not to use it. Obviously, some of us are not as athletic as others. That's just the way things are. You're not necessarily going to be able to swim like Michael Phelps. He's built like a fish. You're not. That's okay. That's really okay. There are some studies that are trying to show the inherited lack of ability to exercise. So you can somewhat blame it on, hey, this is how my lungs and heart were created. I was born with a smaller lungs or a weaker heart, and I can't exert myself physically as much. However, there are twin studies to counteract that and say that there are people who were born without the physical abilities to excel in athleticism, and yet they managed to grow their tiny little weak heart into a magnificent athletic tool. So don't go jumping on the excuse, even though it kind of calls to you from the couch. Okay, here's sort of a funny disclaimer. Don't overexert yourself. The guy who's on the treadmill, who is purple in the face, he's sweating and clearly is not enjoying his workout. He's doing something wrong. Most of us are not that guy. Most of us have Cheetos on our chest and are flipping channels, so this does not concern most of us. But do not exert yourself too much. That could really damage your heart, your arteries. It could lead to injuries. And interestingly enough, it could even make you addicted to exercising. That is a real thing. Yeah. There are worse things than, worse addictions, but don't overexert yourself. It's supposed to be an enjoyable experience. First of all, because that's how you know it's healthy. If your body is hurting, not aching, hurting, then it's telling you to slow down. Not necessarily to stop, maybe it just means to stretch, but you should not be in pain. You should be pushing. You should not be in pain. Someone who is in pain is not doing a healthy exercise. Good. Your body will let you know when you're at that point. Okay, so ideally, what are we supposed to be doing? Exercising, getting your heart rate up, moderate intensity exercise every other day for at least half an hour. And every other day, you could switch off, doing cardio twice a week and muscle building, resistance training the other, every other day, every other day. Good. But even while you're doing that, or for those of us who can't necessarily sign up for our local gym or just can't find that in our schedule or in our budget or in our motivational storehouse, here are a couple of ideas, a few suggestions and tips. See which one fits best into your day, your lifestyle, what's happening now. I'm not even going to be asking you to change your lifestyle. Definitely not drastically. Little baby steps. See what you could do to take those steps forward. Okay. Most people in most countries are full of cars. If you've been stuck in traffic, you've sworn this off. Now, cars are wonderful. No one can tell you otherwise, but it takes away all the walking in our lives. So, if you're driving somewhere that's far, that's not walking distance, although everything's walking distance if you have the time. If you're driving somewhere, park a little further away. Get yourself a few more steps. I think one of the most incredible things are those little pedometers. It counts how many steps you take. And I've watched people have themselves, actually drop half of their body weight just from counting their steps. It's incredible. So even if you're not actually counting your steps, cash in on a few extra ones. Go to the stairs instead of the elevator. Park one level up in your parking garage. Use your car to force yourself to get a couple extra steps, and you'll have to walk back, so it kind of doubles. If you're running to take a bus or a train, for those who don't have a car, don't go to the closest stop, go to the next stop. Obviously, we're talking about not if you're in a rush, to schedule it in a way where you'll have an extra 3 minutes to walk to the next stop. Get off a stop early at the end of your journey and finish it up on foot. Okay, this one you're going to love. You actually have to do nothing. All you have to do is not do something. I think those are the best. These are like passive exercises. When you're on a bus or a train, stand. Don't sit. Don't sit down. Or, maybe sit down for a second and then offer your seat to someone so you look nice, right? Stand and try not to hold on to anything. That builds up your core, your back, abdominal muscles. You actually get a bit of a workout sort of surfing the train. While you're walking, you may not even notice this. Swing your arms when you're walking. It actually will help you walk faster. It'll bring you up to, 3-4 miles an hour. And that's the most helpful. You're trying to go for 3-4 miles an hour in your walk. That's not a run. That's just a brisker walk. And you can even get your heart rate pumping a little bit. If, you're walking somewhere anyways, you'll save yourself a little bit of time, in fact, this way. We're trying to find ways to not have to spend our time. You'll actually save time if you walk a little faster, and you'll actually get a workout out of it. If you're watching a game, a soccer game, a softball game, you're there anyways, you could sit on the bleachers and sip a Coke or walk around the field a couple of times. You can cash in on a ton of steps. It's a lot of time you have there. Use it. Walk tall. Maintain good posture. Your chest out, shoulders squared, relaxed. Keep your stomach in. That keeps your back and your abdominal muscles in shape. And you look great, also. You could actually, if you're walking somewhere anyways, do it healthily. One huge asset to exercising is a buddy. Find someone that you can walk with, jog with, bike with. Adding that social element to your exercise, first of all, makes it a ton of fun, and second of all, you kind of have to do it. You never know. There might be one day when the both of you are actually convincing each other to do it without saying it. You know, I'm only here because of you. I'm also only here because of you. Get that guy. Get that friend. Do it. Okay, this one is for the young at heart. If you're going to a playground or anywhere where you see that your kids are having fun, they're splashing around in the water, go join them. Climb on the jungle gym. Yeah, be careful. But, you could swing on a swing. When was the last time you did monkey bars? If we lived a day, I really want to do a study about this, about adults acting like children for a day. It will be the greatest workout in the world. Act like kids for a little bit. It will strengthen your muscles and bones, and you'll be setting a good example for the kids. And you'll have a blast. Cleaning your house, even if you have help, tell them to take a day off. Clean the house yourself. It's a great workout. Some of these things can sound small. Wash the dishes by hand. You have a dishwasher, use your hands to do it. It can really work out your arms. Really, really small things like don't use an electric can opener. It's good for your wrists, your hand, your arm muscles. Go old fashioned. Here's a very fun one. If you are a TV watcher, hide the remote. Give it to someone and say hide it. Now you want to change the channel? You get up and you change the channel. It'll even spin you out of the trance for a moment. Give you a chance to zoom back in. Although I don't condone watching TV. Swimming is an incredible workout. It takes care of all of your muscles. They say it's the healthiest workout. Also, the least highest chance of drowning out of most exercises. But it has injury wise, it's very safe. The humidity around a pool can be very good for people with lung problems. It gives you huge support. It's super healthy, and it's a ton of fun. It's great for your lungs, your joints, and everything. The water holds you up. It's amazing. If you are going to email someone who is down the hall from you, don't email them. Get up, walk down the hall, and just tell them whatever you need to say. It's nice to have that social interaction, and you'll get a couple of steps in. Here's a great one. Have you ever seen someone who's really involved on their phone and they're just pacing back and forth? It could be an hour and a half long and they've been pacing the entire time. That person could have just as well been sitting down on his behind and lounging back and forth in a rocking chair sipping a smoothie. But he stood up. He didn't necessarily even do it consciously. I'm telling you, do it consciously. Stand up when you're making your phone calls, walk around, get some fresh air. It's the greatest subconscious exercise you'll ever do. It's awesome. Last but not least, I can tell you, take the stairs. Stairs are awesome. Stairs are super healthy. They sell Stairmasters for you to be able to walk upstairs in your home. If you have a real life staircase, don't take the escalator. Be that weird guy who's taking the steps. You'll probably beat the escalator anyways and the elevator anyways, and you'll get to the top with a little bit of a workout. Even better, take it a step up. Do 2 steps at a time. It'll take your gluteal muscles to the next level. And you can tell. It's if you can. If you can, do it 2 steps at a time. If not, do 1 step at a time. See how fast you can do it. These are just a couple of tips that I can offer with exercise. You will see a change in your life if you change your life. It's that simple. There are 800 billion ways that you can change your life today. Here's just a couple of small little ones, ideas in one aspect, just an exercise. Take the opportunity to make those little changes, and it will make huge, ginormous differences. You will sleep better. Try not to do the exercise right before bed. If you can wake up early and do it when no one will disturb you, do that. Go to sleep half an hour earlier, wake up 45 minutes earlier, see if you could cheat yourself, buy yourself an extra 15 minutes. Early morning exercisers. I don't know if you've ever seen these guys. It is the greatest thing in the world. The air is crisp. Can you imagine a better way to start your day? Take advantage, people. Get out there. Get your heart rate going. Your heart actually starts growing after 10 minutes of cardio exercise. So get those 10 minutes in and then do another 2 minutes and then another 3 minutes and then another 5 minutes and push till your limits and then a little bit more. then push your limits. Thank you so much for listening. Email me with all your comments, questions, advice, and anything else you want to say hi. AskMeTherapy@gmail.com. Thank you so much for listening. I'll see you soon.